20 seconds.
Okay.
20 seconds to go. Looks good.
Good.
Coming on the pickle button. Clear to pickle. Clear to pickle. AAA is still below us.
Calling buddy spike.
3, 2, 1. Bomb's gone. Bomb's gone.
Roger
Bomb's
that.
gone. Chapping.
Oh, shit. Somebody blew up my dippy.
All right, move it. 5, 4, 3, 2,
My position
1.
for about 10
Should
miles.
be impact.
Boom! Oh, yes! We destroyed that thing bigger than Dallas.
Diagrams of American nuclear power plants and public water facilities. Detailed instructions for making chemical weapons. Surveillance maps of American cities and thorough descriptions of landmarks in America and throughout the world. What we have found in Afghanistan confirms that far from ending there, our war against terror is only beginning. These enemies view the entire world as the battlefield, and we must pursue them wherever they are.
The Chocolate Mountains Bombing Range, one of the key training grounds in the global war on terror, is situated in Southern California's low desert, 200 miles southeast of Los Angeles. The U.S. military trains here in 5 different impact areas with every weapon in the conventional arsenal. Locals living around this 670 square mile no man's land are getting a preview of the shock and awe soon to be delivered to Iraq.
About every 20 minutes, 4 more jets come in and boom, 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 drop all their stuff. And they just keep rotating. While those are dropping their stuff, there's at least 4 more jets down loading up with more bombs. They're taking off while these guys are dropping their stuff, so it's just a continuous cycle.
To a defiant group of outlaw renegades, this cycle of firepower represents a lucrative underground economy.
You drive onto some of these areas, man, I mean, you just see $5 bills laying all over hell and back, and you know, I mean, it's an adrenaline drive.
Going up there and cleaning up their fucking mess. If not, they'll just be piles and piles of aluminum.
You get in, you get your aluminum, and you get out. The less time you spend in there, the better off you are.
I can make money. I can feed myself. I can survive.
You make a mistake out there, even your mama won't recognize you. Won't be nothing but a hamburger.
Driving around on any kind of military bombing range is a very foolish thing to be doing, albeit illegal. Yeah, it's just insane. Scrappers are never routine. They're just dangerous, opportunistic crooks. They will sit, they will wait, they will watch. And if the opportunity presents itself to access scrap metals or explosives, they will do it.
Our government is very wasteful. They don't pick up after themselves worth a fuck. They shit the shit out of the plane daily, yearly, you know.
The main objective of the scrapper community is personal gain through theft. And generally that's through non-ferrous metals, aluminum, copper, target vehicles, which they cut up, bombing fins that can be traded for hard cash at scrap metal dealers.
It's pretty simple. All you got to do if you don't know what the hell you're doing is carry around a magnet. If it sticks to your magnet, you don't need it because you can't sell it.
Some days they may come up empty-handed. Some days they may do very well. Various types of explosive devices will be taken off the bombing range by the scrapper to another location where they'll separate the metal from the explosive payload. When you have any criminal element, scrapper or otherwise, that is able to access any significant quantities of explosive materials, it serves no one's best interest, particularly in this climate of post 9/11, when we are a country at war against terrorism.
"40 miles north of the Mexican border, the town of Nyland lies wedged between the Salton Sea to the west and the Chocolate Mountains bombing range to the east. It's had a ringside seat to the U.S. military's war rehearsals ever since General Patton trained his Third Army here in preparation for the invasion of North Africa. Back in 1945, the crew of the Enola Gay rehearsed dropping the bomb here before their missions over Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Triggered by the post-war boom, the Salton Sea grew into a low-desert riviera. But pollution, water shortages, and warmer temperatures gradually turned it into a dead zone. By the early 90s, Nyland's agricultural engine had come apart. Businesses ran to countries where labor was cheaper. The area turned into a haven for outlaws, desperados, and the disenfranchised.
It's one of the poorest communities in California, 85% below federal poverty level. Unemployment is in the neighborhood of 60%.
Fire Chief Mike Alexic, who has lived here for over 40 years, can still recall Nyland's salad days.
It was the tomato capital of the world, actually.
That's Old Town. This had a general store, grocery store, a bar, the bank.
Today, though, the chief is waging his own war, trying to keep his community together. He's become the acting medic, crisis counselor, educator, and law enforcement official, not to mention explosives ordnance expert, and the list keeps getting longer.
The only time Nyland's a destination is during hunting season, where thousands of people are here hunting.
The bombing range, however, hums with activity year-round. From bases across the United States, the armed forces converge on this ground zero in wave after wave to train with the latest ordnance, including Sidewinder missiles, cluster munitions, and the Daisy Cutter. But that hasn't stopped scrappers from turning it into a free enterprise zone.
They bring in Sidewinder missiles and take the warhead off to get the aluminum behind it. We deal with 24 to 36 ordnance calls a year. We see people blown up by scrappers. We see pipe bombs. Numerous people killed and hurt.
Most of the scrappers that I have personal knowledge of have a very active drug involvement, usually methamphetamines.
Methamphetamine, or meth, was widely used by Nazi stormtroopers, kamikaze pilots, and Allied forces during the Second World War. Since the early 90s, Nyland and the Imperial Valley have been especially hard hit by the exploding demand for meth across the country. Key drug smuggling routes to the north run right through town and the bombing range.
The local scrapping area is just about due north of Nyland. It's wild, wild west. These guys up here, if they show up and you're scrapping in an area they thought was theirs, they'll disable your vehicle. They'll leave you stranded out there, take your battery, crack your block, flatten your tires. It's very territorial. I know guys carry guns up there. What's the risk of being shot versus getting blown up? Anybody that runs that up there is really crazy. That's, Blue Mountain is so full of unexploded ordnance. The feuding between some of the old heads resulted in JR moved to the other side of the Chocolate Mountains. He pretty much has that area to himself and he doesn't want anybody in it. It's one of the most dangerous areas you can work in. That's all big bombs, big ordnance, rockets, sidewinders. It's scattered all over out there. If he catches you over there, I believe he would probably shoot you.
Only range one on this side is me. Only me. I'm the only one left over there. I don't bother nobody if nobody bothers me. If somebody bothers me, then I will retaliate with force. That's the way I deal. I consider anybody out there an enemy. Ain't no friend out there. It's like playing a roulette. You just spin the wheel and see what goes. You can't hide from the suckers, no matter where you go. They can find them racket tanks, they can bloody well find you.
JR runs the range in a souped-up VW Bug with the top chopped off, painted black for maximum stealth at night. Doors hinder getting in and out quickly, and windshields are too shiny, so he stripped them. Same with the hood and the back seat, to make room for scrap.
He just dropped. He just fucking dropped.
JR joined the Marines at 17 to avoid serving a 2-year sentence in the penitentiary in Oklahoma.
See that white streak up through there? That's downtown. That's the main target.
He served 3 tours in Vietnam. When he retired from the Corps after 20 years and suffering from severe post-traumatic stress disorder, he spent several years drifting from town to town. He finally settled down in the shadow of the bombing range, where he'd trained as a young Marine.
Keep it up, don't quit now.
The range has been his home ever since. In Vietnam, JR's reputation as a fearless mud Marine got him assigned to many of the riskiest missions.
Come on, guys, give me another round.
Such as Forward Observer, where he would have to sneak up on enemy positions and radio back coordinates for airstrikes.
There he's way off. Yeah, way the fucking back there. Holy shit, he's way off course on that one. Oh boy, the bird's down there. Mortar crews are throwing mortars. That explains why all the bombers been back over here while he's still over here. bet your sweet ass they got 4 observers on that water crew, along with a guy with a 50 caliber sniper rifle. You sit out there too long, you become a target. Out of sight, out of mind. That's the way I play it. I'm solely a night runner.
JR staked his claim to the Blue Mountain side of the range during the first Gulf War, when feuding between scrappers had flared out of control.
And he's smart enough to know when somebody's been scrapping in his area and knows how to find them.
You know, there's a lot of knowledge to learn from that old man. And there's learning to be learned. There's a lot of acres over there of impact area. A lot more than he can handle. We go over there to work and catch whoever you're competing with at their weak point, let's face it.
Every once in a while I want to get through, but not real often. And everybody on the other side's just drug heads. They're just trying to feed their habit. If you're out there, you don't belong there, well, so you get to go bye-bye.
Keeping his eyes peeled for military police patrols, JR heads home. For all his supplies, he has to drive 80 miles round trip to the nearest town. For everything from drinking and bathing water, propane, gas, food, and ammo. He keeps the road open with an old military grader whenever flash floods wash away access to his compound, which he has named Freedom Village, a Marine Corps term for a safe base camp behind the front lines.
I hate being enclosed in. Here, you got a little more freedom in place else, you know what I mean?
On the Nyland side of the bombing range, people are just as defiant about their freedoms. Ironically, a maximum security prison is the biggest employer in the area. It has an electrified fence that can cause instant death to any inmate trying to escape. Some Nylanders say, if you live around here, you're either a prison guard or a prisoner.
Morning, Paul. I said morning, not good morning.
Randy started scrapping the range 4 years ago when he and his brother Ron faced real problems keeping their machine shop going. Now that much of the work has moved overseas, their main priority has become to hold on to their property. Unable to cover soaring utility bills, they've resorted to heating water the old-fashioned way.
Some sour note. 'Cause I stretch out a lot. All right, get her screaming, baby. I wrote a song called The Carlos Shuffle. Sounds like a dance. It ain't about a dance, it's about stacking the deck in your favor.
Randy normally works for more experienced scrappers for a percentage of the take. But that isn't enough anymore. He wants to stack the deck more in his favor by branching out and running the range with his younger brother Ronnie. They take along 4 spare tires because the impact areas bristle with shrapnel that can slice through tires like butter.
And if the jets come, don't hide the tanks, because the tanks are targets. A good shot will blow a turret right off. Let's roll.
After gassing up on beer and meth, the brothers head for the range. Both having a suspended license, they keep to the back roads. Randy hopes the jets and helicopters won't be flying, but it's a gamble.
In the name of Jesus, please let this be a safe and prosperous trip. We're in shit city now. Slow down. You're already going too fast right now. Why? Because there's fucking boom booms.
What?
There's bombs in the road up here. Just cruising, running. You can see this dust from fucking Bombay Beach now. You're going too fast. Look at this one sticking out on the ground.
I take it missed. I'm gonna find one of those shells that go in the tank. Fucking unshot. There's probably one right under this dirt here that didn't blow up.
Ronnie, don't fuck with it. We don't come out here to play, we come out here to make money. Come out here to play, you get fucking hurt. There's 3, 4, 5 teams of guys that go up in there, and there's been times when that thing was picked so clean, we had to hike up the side of the mountains and get the strays up there on the side of the mountains. Just one of them turd bombs. That's the new model.
The tank target looks like it's already been swept by one or more of the other scrapper crews. All that's left are unexploded practice bombs, missiles, and anti-tank weapons. Randy doesn't feel comfortable dismantling live ordnance on his own.
1,000-pounder that didn't go off. Look at the fucking bullet. Got a lot of TNT shit in it.
They knock holes in the runways. They drop the bombs right on here. Shit, man, you could be sitting on one right now. I like it up here. Well, there's aluminum right here, Bo. This is fucking bad.
For Ron, an amateur inventor, there's no shortage of pickup parts here that he might be able to use in his workshop.
Oh, bud. Look at all the go-kart parts. I need pedals.
I'll try to find some brakes in here, too. Yeah. This is the shit right here I need for my bike.
Yeah.
Give me the lighter.
You know what? That's what causes the earthquakes. Every earthquake we've ever had, a bomb went off. And that earthquake started. Boom, you feel a bomb and then it fucking just keeps going.
After hours of searching with little to show, the brothers fire up the glass pipe and are once again invincible.
This is a British anti-tank. This is just one section. That's why it got dumped.
The fucker's still in there.
Fuck yeah, it's still got a live fucking... Got a blow track right off the tank.
What kind of explosive is in there, you think?
I don't know. Highly explosive some shit if they'll blow a track off a tank. That piece is a good score, man. Just in that little piece right there. That flat plate on the bottom is 25 pounds.
When Randy spots a white SUV approaching from the far end of the target runway, and fearing that it might be the military police, he demands the cameras be put away.
You thought those were MPs?
Yeah. It's MPs, man. You just fucking hightail it. And hope they don't give up. You just go around them and then you fucking get on it.
It looks like they're making a U-turn, no?
The what?
You said it looks like they're making a U-turn. I think they're just...
They look like carrots to me.
They're just cruising.
Randy's attempt to stack the deck in his favor hasn't paid off. He'll probably have to go back to working for more experienced scrappers if he wants to see the big paydays they keep talking about.
What angers me is the fact that you're stupid and you go in there and you get blown up, and that puts myself and the bomb squad and the EOD guys all in danger of either getting hurt or killed. We have to go in there. That looks like a plane. Well, it looks like a tail section. I wonder how we can get over there. Kind of curious now. I couldn't tell you how many times I've been in there on rescues. People getting injured or they're dead. And then you go through base operation clearances to make sure that they're going to keep the range cold. And that doesn't always work because the Air Force comes in occasionally and uses this bombing range and they don't get clearance from anybody. But you still have to go in and retrieve the body. I would rather work in JR's area where I can see the big bombs than in Cluster Haven in an area that they drop little baseball-sized bombs that you can't see.
These guys in Oz, they work at what they call Cluster Haven, and they hit nothing but live stuff in there, and I won't even go in there. You can't even pay me to go in there. No, thank you.
When you go up there, you're definitely taking your life in your own hands. That's for sure. First time I went up there, it was like, I was afraid to step anywhere, because as the bombs go off, they cover up, the dirt covers up live ordnance.
Cluster Haven is one of the only impact areas in the world where U.S. and NATO jets can practice dropping cluster bombs every day of the year. A cluster bomb is one of the deadliest munitions ever devised. Once it is dropped from a jet, its outer casing splits into 2 or 3 pieces, which the scrappers call halves, and hundreds of bomblets are released over an area the size of a football field. The halves, each weighing 80 pounds of high-grade aluminum, are what Nyland scrappers are after.
I found myself going from, tippy-toeing through there to having a half in each hand, dragging it through all the shit,
They're stupid. That's the only thing you can say is they're stupid. Would you walk into a minefield? Well, that's what you're doing when you walk in the Cluster Haven, because these suckers come in, they go on the ground. All you gotta do is step on one of them. And guess what you got? No foot, if you're lucky.
This is what sets off the primer cord, fuse mechanism time, so that it pops the shell open. Option wire, the wires come through here and hook to these levers and stuff. And when this thing clicks or something, every one of those has got one of these in it. Disposable, one-time use.
The latest round of bombing up at Cluster Haven has been spectacular, echoing off the range like a casino jackpot jingle. But until he can replace the transmission on his truck, Randy isn't going anywhere. He hits up his old scrapping mentor, Downey, who knows Cluster Haven like the back of his hand, and whose exploits and paydays up there are legendary.
Dude, man, I need to go make some money. I'd rather go with someone so I can come back, I can work with you or against you. I mean, competition if you don't take me, because I'm going to be up there getting shit too.
Downey shares a rock of crystal meth with Randy and brings him up to speed on his own share of problems. He was recently busted by Marines for hauling a load of scrap out of Cluster Haven. They hoisted his truck into the air from their helicopter and let it smash to the ground to teach him a lesson. So Randy isn't the only one without a vehicle. Downey is extremely frustrated because now he won't be able to send money to his daughter.
And the first time I ever went up there with him, he straight up schooled me. This is real dangerous. If you see, stay away. Those, it don't matter. Step over them, you trip on it. Could go off, probably won't.
Just look at each of those situations. Now, that can hurt me. And, you must have respect for it. Okay? If you disrespect it, it will disrespect you. There's no way then much about it.
One scrapper who learned this lesson the hard way was Downey's ex-girlfriend. She was injured twice while scrapping for cluster bombs.
Just think. Right alongside the truck, she built a fire. Right in the middle of the factory. And it exploded, Caught her up under her breast and on her thigh. Didn't hurt her, but nothing to fool with.
In the name of the gods I pray, let this be a safe and prosperous day.
Downey and Randy are eager to cash in on the latest round of bombing up at Cluster Haven. So Downey borrows a two-wheel drive pickup truck from an ex-girlfriend, estimating they can stack it with about $700 worth of clean cluster bomb skins. He tapes up the license plate in case they run into military police or border patrol on the range.
Trail is one of many entrances to the Wells Fargo ATM machine.
He and Randy decide to head up to Cluster Haven in broad daylight and 115-degree heat, aiming to scrap as many clean skins as possible before the competition swoops in later that night. They'll make as many runs as they can until the meth runs out.
How come these coyote vans are always burned out?
They're moving illegal aliens. They're moving narcotics across this passage. Immigration and military, they do not want to see that vehicle again used for the same purposes. Because many times we'll come along and put a battery and a spare tire on it. It's ready to go. Go. Am I hallucinating up in there, or do I see way up in there? Look, is it a helicopter or is it?
Yeah, one maybe 200 feet off the deck, and his partner just made a left-hand turn.
Randy, is that car? It's a car. Cover?
Much to their relief, the helicopters did not spot the vehicle, but moved on to strafe other targets.
Windshield. The windshield will definitely give it up right quick.
Can't see no clusters.
If you'll just look up along those mountains, you'll see little white specks all over the sides of them.
In the name of the gods I pray, let this be a safe and prosperous day.
You got to realize when you got a 500-600 acre area and they just hammer that son of a bitch day in, day out, how cluttered the ordnance is on top of the ground. Not even counting about what's underground.
Less than a mile from Cluster Haven, the two-wheeler gets stuck in the sandy wash.
That's the air out right now.
Downey and Randy let air out of the tires for better traction in the sand. but the engine is overheated in the 115-degree heat, making it harder to extract the truck.
As you're driving through there, you're going around what's on the surface that you see. But how do you know there's not a tank buster or something just underneath the surface, you know? You don't. Because as the bombs go off, they cover up live ordnance.
Downey discovers that one of the motor mounts is broken.
You're usually in a 4x. We're underfunded right now. And we're using this little two-wheeler to get a couple loads so we can get funded. It's not working though.
Well, you know, you gotta take the good with the bad. Some days it's chicken, some days it's feathers.
Less than a week later, Downey and Randy borrow another truck and make it all the way to Cluster Haven at night. This time they score close to a ton of cluster bomb aluminum. A few miles from the Navy SEALs base, Downey and the brothers build a fire on which to bake the outer shells of the cluster bombs that still contain steel rivets and bolts. They must extract them, or the aluminum will be worth a lot less at the recycler.
You gotta burn them to get these center things out. These screws, they Loctite and shit on it. You just can't get them out if you don't heat it up.
If you have to rely on that, whether it be a brass shell, bomb pin, or a cluster bomb, you could always lean that way. The same as any other trade or craft, you know. There's a difference between junk and theft, okay? You know, like some of these people, like the Debris Bunch is one of them. Man, they're in there stealing ammunition, they're in there stealing guns, they're in there stealing, you know what I'm saying?
Fine.
There's not too many of these gunnery ranges anymore that's unsecured.
They alternate COs pretty regular. And the middle one comes in, the middle one goes out, you know, and so forth. Because of the corruption.
Because it's easy to tell some guy that lives here, I'll make a deal with you if I'll tell you where we've got this box of stuff hid and you pay me in this form or other, and deals like that have been made in the past. The CO's in charge of this many supplies of what is needed for his maneuvers to go on. I mean, there's a big warehouse full, and when it's over, all the excess left over is nobody's, actually. Whatever the CO decides he wants to do with it. There has been weapons found up there. I found locks of plastic explosives and those orange tubes where every 10 feet there's a detonator. Hell, I got tired of rolling it up in my hands. And I've real quick decided whether or not I wanted to be in possession of them, just from the time it takes to drive from there to a person that I know buys them right now. And generally, no. Just depends on what I'm doing.
You take one weapon to see how fast they're on it. You know, you're looking at some serious time.
Once the aluminum halves are superheated, the back-breaking work of extracting the steel rivets and bolts begins.
The scrapper, if he is able to access explosive materials anywhere, should be considered as a possible resource for terrorist elements. And we are convinced in the law enforcement community that there are sleeper cells of terrorist elements in this country today. It simply highlights the importance of the military and the civilian law enforcement operations working together as a team.
We begin tonight with an exclusive story we first brought you last night, and it all has to do with a major explosives find in Imperial County. Good evening, everyone. Sheriff's deputies recovered the explosives and ammunition in an island home and returned there today to detonate some of the dangerous explosives. Some of it included cluster bombs and the highest hazard level, a C4 bomb.
When we first got there, we had to disarm 17 booby traps. Half of them designed to kill you, half of them designed to maim you.
Which part would I say struck me more? Everything? The C4, the Comp B, the pineapple hand grenade, the Laws rocket warhead in the freezer, the dragon tube hanging over the doorway in the house.
Bazooka in a refrigerator that was booby trapped. You know, we just had to blow it up. You knew it was booby trapped because you saw the wire.
We probably had somewhere around 40,000 rounds of ammunition, tracer and armor piercing.
He's just a pop, bang, bang guy. They tried to nail him down as a terrorist and shit. Man, he just liked to blow shit up.
Judging on the videos, and I think they just like to play war, you know? They like to go out and shoot the machine guns and throw hand grenades. Had a video of them blowing up a water truck, video of them following the SEAL team out, picking up their ammunition and dressed just like the SEALs, and following them with their training and picking up all their stuff. As the SEAL team dropped their magazines, they would be right behind them picking up grenades.
Well, you get old cars, trucks, and rig them up and boom, film it. And say, oh, check this one out, we blew up. Watch this thing, dude.
Like when they made that water truck disappear, I mean, it just flat disappeared.
They have videotapes of him and his grandkids. His grandkids are 4 or 5 years old.
Yeah.
Sitting on him or whatever.
Hit it, Daddy. Go, boom, boom, Daddy.
His sons were raised up in the element, and it became a part of their life. It's like you or I would go fishing. They would have a family gathering, they go out, and they would take things with them and blow them up. But everything was deadly. It took us 3.5 days to clear all the ammunition, the explosives, and all the other ordnance that we found off that property. And that was a team of about 30 people a day.
We blew up over 400 pounds of explosive on the site that we couldn't move. We transported 1,400 pounds up onto the range and blew it up, and sent pretty close to a ton that was safe and stable to transport back to Yuma to the military base. If they were terrorists, they could have made bank by selling the explosives. They could have made a lot of money if that was their object.
Well, I know they are all out now. The entire family is back out and has been for a while.
They now live at Bombay Beach.
They had been investigated in the mid-'80s for the same type of deal. Nothing came of it. You know, they were just, let's just clean up what you've got and down the road you can go. And that wasn't by the sheriff's office, that was by another entity federally. And down the road they went. They didn't learn anything from that lesson, obviously, because we found what we found. So we were back to square one again with them.
With no end in sight for the wars, prices of aluminum and brass are at an all-time high, and competition between scrappers is heating up.
Everything I pick up comes in here. I never hide nothing. If you hide it, somebody else will find it.
Before driving the aluminum to the recycler, JR removes the steel bolts holding the bomb fins together.
I pulled 4 loads last 2 days. You gotta remember that a lot of the ordnance now is going overseas, Afghanistan and Iraq. Well, most of the good stuff's going over there to fight. 3 o'clock in the morning, I got buzzed by a friggin' jet. He knew I was there because he got that weapon sight. So yeah, he can see you, but you can't see him. And that's bad. Real bad. Everybody got their hobbies. I got mine. And mine is to go out there and plant on a military reservation, which is strictly against the bloody law. Well, this place is hell on earth when it comes summer gets here. When it gets to 125 degrees. You either cooking or you're freezing. Why I stay here? Because the boss tells me to. Lori.
I've been on my own since I was little. Even with my mom and dad, I never stayed home. I was always in the woods, catching water dogs, snakes, lizards. Lucky my mother was never afraid of snakes. This is just today's eggs. You get out of the way, sugar booger.
I met Lori in New Mexico. That's how I met Lori in New Mexico.
And I wouldn't even talk to him. I had nothing to do with him. No. The only reason I got with him, he had a washing machine. I did my laundry at his place. Well, my parents' laundry. And we've been together ever since. And that's been 22 years. I don't like someone to tell me I've got to do something and how to act, how to dress. I'm not that type of person, no.
I'll do whatever I want to, she does whatever she wants to do. Plain and simple. She got her visuals, I got mine.
When he first moved over here, the only thing we had to our name was no Ford truck and a pup tent. 5 pounds of beans and 5 gallons of water. That's all we had.
I learned how to kill before I learned how to live. Plain and simple. South Sea Asia, that's something I don't even want to think about. That's one part of my life just stays in the past. Because if I start thinking about that, I may do something stupid.
I've seen kids that came back from Vietnam. I'll never forget it. Because people would criticize them for it. And I didn't like that because they went over there, you know, doing what their country asked them to. It wasn't their choice. And I got a few fist fights over some of them. Girls, you know, criticizing the soldiers when they come back. No, I can't handle that.
That's another story, another lifetime. That's one that best just left unsaid. Damn, you're good when you're good, boy. Woohoo!
Hey, Abe. He's changed a lot. He's not as violent as he was. No, he was a very, very violent person. You couldn't get close to him.
Shit, when I married Lori, I was on self-destruct mode. I didn't give a fuck about nothing, nobody. I'd walk into anything or any fucking body. Hell, I'm still that way. Except now, Mr. Smith & Wesson does most talking for me, not me.
When he was in the military, he was in one of them camps, his PW. And he was having nightmares, real bad. So I set up with him, and sometimes he would have some real bad ones. And I would have to wake him up or, do something. He's got scars yet from it.
Well, let's put it this way. I got one kidney. Part of my gallbladder is gone. Most of my stomach's gone. I got pinned up and down both ways. Wow. Yeah, I used to get hurt. That part of my life stays where it's at, in the dark.
He could be gone, say, I'll see you later. And I won't see him like 3 or 4 days. I don't ask where he goes. I always make sure he had coffee, cigarettes, and plenty of ammo for his gun.
When JR isn't scrapping or working on his vehicles, he's very likely patrolling the range, on the lookout for Nylanders and anyone else smuggling drugs or illegal immigrants across his territory. Being a mere 40 miles from the Mexican border has made this bombing range an ideal corridor to the north for smugglers trying to avoid tightening highway checkpoints.
They come up out of Mexico, coming to an island, they go up to Salvation and Surveyor's Pass. I try to get through here. An island guy down at Cedar make more money throwing a new through here. Hell, 15, 20 years ago, it wasn't this way. Now, it's like bloody LA freeway.
JR claims to have been a member of a secret military unit fighting the drug cartels in Colombia in the 1980s. He is reputed to have shot a number of smugglers and meth lab cooks operating on the bombing range.
Drug lab people that shot one of my bug drop on me. Trying to catch a bounty. I had a price on my head. 10 grand. That's a lot of money for somebody's life. But I just outlasted people that kept sending after me. Process elimination. I come through that camp and the guy's eye as big as $50. And I went through sideways. Sideways hunting gears. Scattered shit everywhere. Just kept on going. See the bullet holes in this motherfucker? They're mine. They're all mine. AK-47.
We will not tire or rest until the war on terror is won. We will never back down. We will never give in. We will never accept anything less than complete victory.
By 2005, the war in Iraq was pulling U.S. forces deeper into its vortex. Most Americans wanted to get out, but weren't sure how to. The Nyland area was in its own grim spiral, and Ron and Randy were torn between getting out or staying the course. Ron relied increasingly on crystal meth and scripture to get through the day. His search for spiritual guidance would sometimes lead him onto the bombing range, where he'd wander back roads known to be frequented by smugglers.
That's smoke. Not surveillance, surveying us. You're looking at the smoke, and it's up 4 or 5 miles above you. The possibilities are endless when it comes to the U.S. government, you know? I mean, I don't question nothing. I believe all things are possible. I believe, without a doubt, that Christ will come back, and when he does, we're all going to be awed. The Lord's going to come down and pick up. People are going to disappear, just phew. And like, man, then you're going to know. You're going to be taken to the heaven that is now exists. And then after all this shit happens, then you're going to be put back on earth, because there's going to be heaven on earth forever. And then there's going to be another heaven. I mean, if I could create all this, man, I'd want to do it again, you know? I'd do it better every time. And that's what I do as an inventor. I'll build the fucker, dude. It don't work for shit, but I can see it can, so I fix it. Then it works better. Bible is a mystery, you know? I'm sure I've done
Something's coming up the road.
Sure, I've done some things wrong because
it's a truck.
Yeah. Come on, stay here. It only costs a small fee, but you can pass here at any time. Oh, I'm fucking with you. They're like, come on. How about you, man? Welcome to America. Watch out for the bombs sometimes. Oh, there's the back lane right there.
There are quantities of explosive materials out there, and certainly do present a hazard to anyone that has access to the installation. Whether they be illegal aliens trying to come into the country, the potential danger is always there.
It's possible they ran over an explosive device that caught it on fire. Half the group fled, the other half sat there and waited for the border patrol. And they were in a high impact area that's called devastation. This guy came through here. It's obvious where he didn't know where he was going, probably at night. And a lot of times you'll find that the doors are welded shut so they can't get out.
The only thing I like about it is when you break down, they got the right vehicles or mine.
They should have wet runner. They didn't hit anything vital. We dug it in with a big old Jeep up there. Dug it in on the flat. Straight on. These are all sideways. These are having. And it just clipped the hole, ready to hold right there. That's all it did. Wait till you hear somebody's wrong. I got it. You consider that motor is about $1,600 fucking dollars.
Tantalized by stories of huge paydays, Randy had gambled on scrapping to keep the family business alive. But 5 years on, it was still a lot more famine than feast.
We went to work that night to major load, truck full, trailer full. I mean, and we were late getting out, right? We're literally chain binding this shit down. Here come two Apaches just right up the ravine. And I'm leaning back trying to hide behind the doorpost. Johnny's going, come on, get out of there, come on, leave it. So I jumped out, I jumped in his truck, and we went around the corner and hopped in the next canyon. Well, they went out and they did a donut around cluster. Boom, boom, boom. Johnny looks at me and goes, there goes your truck. Oh shit, and I'm like, no, dude, I think they were trying to send a message. Here's your favorite truck, asshole. Look at her, dude. Just, we're not making any money here. It's a shame. But we just lost the contracts that we had. We can't get no more contracts right now. I can't be here.
Randy's a good person, man. He got a big heart, but he not cut out for that kind of work. You know, a day in, day out, day in, day out. You know what I mean? I'm glad to see the boy go. Get the hell up out of here. You know, be truthful about it.
Randy finally quit the scrapping game, left the house to his brother Ronnie, and hitched a ride out of Nyland's vortex, betting on a new start in Laughlin, Nevada, a gambling town on the Colorado River. He made decent money there in his 20s, working construction on new casinos.
It's a process of elimination. You keep getting stoned or drunk, sooner or later you finish. You're done. When I go out there, I don't drink, period. I don't take drugs, period. Because I gotta have all of my faculties working.
But the nights when JR could drive into the kill zones to chase his demons were also numbered.
I went to see a doctor down here, and he said I had 2400 vision, one eye legally blind in my right. Getting too dangerous. You gotta be able to see. You make a mistake out here and you don't get another one. You're done, you're finished. It's like looking through wax paper. And the highway, you know the highway, some of the highways black, some are white. They all look white to me.
I heard that JR's eyesight was really failing. Eventually, he's going to get into the position where he can't make the runs out there scrapping. I think it's going to be like a mongoose and a snake type deal. The mongoose just jumping in fast and in and out, in and out. And he's not going to be able to handle everything coming from different directions. And I know there's several people in town waiting for the day. They think he's got a gold mine over there.
Whenever JR has a load of scrap to sell, he drives it clear to the other side of the range, to Nyland, using only back roads where he's less likely to be stopped by sheriffs, military police, ICE, or Border Patrol agents. Round trip, it's 100 miles.
Give me a fucking rock.
For 20 years, JR has been selling his scrap to Nyland's local recycler, Mel, the father of his arch competitor, Downey.
Me and his daddy, we go way back together. Yeah, I knew his daddy when he worked in air conditioners. Yeah, those two don't get along. Trust me. Nyland, I blow in and blow out. I'm in there about 30 minutes and I'm gone.
JR gets a better price for his scrap from Mel than anyone else in town.
Oh, my bacon. What?
Downey, however, doesn't get any special favors and will often sell his scrap to his dad's competitors out of town. But he's learned to pick up vital information from Mel about JR's activities.
When I have to lean on this recycling thing, I just don't depend on Mel. I look at all of it as a whole, who he competes with, and you know, I mean, it goes to where the dollar's at. Brass being what gotten way out of sight price-wise. leaned that way, you know what I mean? And took the time to explore the areas where they just do nothing but shoot 50s and 20s. It's a very dangerous area if they should come in there and go to doing an exercise. So you only have 1.5 days out of the whole week. My dime, your time.
With that window of opportunity about to open in a few hours, Downey arranges with another scrapper to make a run into JR's territory to look for brass shells from attack helicopters.
Okay, I'll leave the phone on. You want to leave by 7:30?
Go down the middle. What the fuck is that? I don't know. Go down the middle. Watch what he's doing. Standing there. Right there. Hey, Mike. Hey. You break down or what?
Nah, I came walking in.
You crazy fucker.
I came up there with Ron and Paul, and they didn't want to go all the way up. They got stuck.
Mike, the lone walker, had caught a ride up to Cluster Haven the day before with another scrapper crew. But when their rig had gotten stuck in a wash, he decided to walk off and scrap on his own.
Here, take this for me, though. Give it to me in Island sometime. It's not much.
This guy's been walking for miles. He just got out of jail. Narcotic charges.
We came up last night and we got stuck, eh? So we spent the night.
We went out last night and got stuck too. You want a piece of candy?
Yeah. I figured by the time I walked in, it fucking was dark.
That is a very, very dangerous target over there. And if you aren't a professional, you do not belong there.
Seen a deer last night.
Seen a deer? Yeah. Hunter?
Yeah, that's the inside.
That's where I've made the most money is on that target over there. I made $1,150 in 8 hours. Where I used to live, I filled up the whole driveway with aluminum. 3 truckloads filled up to the cab. I'm talking truckloads. I mean, it was laying everywhere. Whatever you do, don't just take off.
I'll stick right by you.
What are we up to, guys? Looking?
We find it, we load it.
All right.
When Don discovers a half-buried 500-pound bomb, Downey returns to the truck for a crowbar with which to excavate it.
The fin's worth now about $85. And it takes 2 bolts to take it off the bomb. But you gotta remember, this is a 500-pound bomb that didn't go off when it hit. And it might just take that one little tap with that socket wrench to set it off.
You know, there's a lot of old shit, but there's a lot of fresh shit here, too.
Yeah, well, they hit this morning right here a couple times.
After exposing the bolts securing the aluminum fins to the explosive body, Don uses a wrench to disconnect the fins.
on a trail, Volkswagen trail.
Don and Downey are looking for a back way into JR's field of helicopter brass. Considering how territorial he is, they would much rather fly in under his radar.
What's that? Yeah.
They're way up there.
By 2006, the price of brass had risen to $1.50 a pound, the highest in recent memory. 350 caliber shells equal a pound of brass.
That's a complete rocket. Fins and everything. We can always come down the side of the mountain and go into that wash. Just hold the brakes on and it just slides all by itself. I gotta check it out, man. I gotta see. I gotta see.
That white piece way up there?
Yeah.
You see Downey? Aim for Downey, right?
It's about freedom. It's about freedom. We come out here and we're free. We're free. And we have fun. Tell me this ain't fun. We're not making $1 million, but it's fun.
Americans are a free people who know that freedom is the right of every person and the future of every nation. The liberty we prize is not America's gift to the world. It is God's gift to humanity.
Smell that. It still smells good, huh? Kind of like sage, like desert sage or something. It smells really good.
By the end of 2007, as the cost of the global war on terror continued to pile up and take precedence over home front needs, the U.S. economy was showing signs of a creeping uncertainty. Commodities prices, however, were still at a feverish high.
Oh, green one. Big one, 70 pounds.
And old hands like Downey and Dawn were seeing more out-of-work newcomers crossing onto the bombing range in search of a quick score.
500 pounders to the left side, huh?
Yep. Sure is. I gotta find out if it's inert. way over there, though. Well, if I could roll it over, I'd take that butt piece off, but the cable to the pin is falling off. It's live, but...
That's one of them big, how many pounds is one of those? 50. Yeah, but I heard of them, I never seen them.
They've been knocking shit out of some hair.
Yeah.
When Mike got back to town later that night, neighbors informed him that thieves had broken into his house while he'd been on the range and had stolen his few belongings.
Sound like brass.
Yeah. Good day.
Most of the scrap aluminum and brass recycled from the bombing range is sold to Chinese markets to supply their booming manufacturing economy. Down the road, that same aluminum is likely to be sold back to U.S. customers in the form of American brands, such as automobiles manufactured in China.
Inspector Charles Gopher has now issued a comprehensive report that confirms the earlier conclusion of David Kay that Iraq did not have the weapons that our intelligence believed were there.
The prosecution, the possible prosecution, you know, if something happens, yeah, that bothers me, but something keeps me going. I can make money, I can feed myself, I can survive.
Two weeks later, Don was arrested on the range for trespassing and possession of government property. He ended up spending 4 months in jail. When he was released, he got a job driving a water truck along the canal road on the edge of the bombing range.
I should have burnt this fucking field this summer.
For Randy's brother Ronnie, his longtime dream of building duck ponds on the property and leasing them out during hunting season now seems even further out of reach.
This is the land of opportunity. And they put that right in the shitter, bro. We're the smartest country in the world, and we can fix it. But we look away. Nobody wants to deal with it. In America, we're smart enough that we can take care of it even a little bit. But we're just so busy thinking about other things, we don't got the time to think about people who need the help. It's all about one, an army of one. Fights for nothing if you don't fight for one person standing right here.
With no means of survival, Ronnie finally locked up the house and headed to Arizona to look for work. When word got around, local thieves and scrappers soon broke in and took all remaining contents, even the copper pipes.
That was good. I believe I'll have another.
But for an old warrior like JR, survival outside the bombing range is not an option.
Oh, where am I gonna go? Ain't no place for me to go. Unless civilization start crowding me in, then I'll move.
JR's eyesight has deteriorated so much that he can barely see anything on the bombing range at night. But if he stopped scrapping while the Veterans Administration scheduled him for eye surgery, he fears his rivals will move in on his territory. He figures he's got no choice but to fund the operation himself, regardless of the risks. JR heads back out onto the range at the usual hour, after midnight.
There's a reason to my madness. There's a reason to my madness. I'm not happy with much of anything. Unless I'm working, then I'm happy. If I ain't, I'm not happy with nothing. But I'm surgery, I'm blind. So what if I want to make money, pay for it? Do it myself, you know what I mean? It's either that or not see it all. You have no choice. You gotta keep the wolf back away from the door. I ain't sitting around moping, getting stoned and getting drunk, hiding my misery, you know what I mean? Come on, let's get real. Everybody says 10 grand, a lot of money. No, it ain't. It ain't worth shit when you're blind. I want to see again. Simple. You gotta get out there and do what you gotta friggin' do. You gotta take the world as what it is. Well, it's cold blood. I do what I gotta do and that's it. Plain and simple. See that wire? That's a hot one. Oh yeah, I detach it. What an Allen wrench. It's a common Allen wrench.
JR did manage to scrap the $10,000 needed for eye surgery. The operations were successful, and with near 20/20 vision, JR dove back into scrapping with a vengeance.
Guy and his wife were arrested for scrapping, and they had a load of scrap. One of the better known scrappers here went and took all the scrap and then torched the van, basically to say, you're in my neighborhood. This is my scrap. Don't come back in there. You understand that they got a problem. They got to find some source of income. They consider getting the bomb scraps a good source of income.
After 30 years on Nyland's fire department and nearing his retirement age, Chief Alexic suffered a mild heart attack while putting out an arson fire. When he recovered, his community needed help more than ever. So he postponed his retirement and went back to work. He remains on the job, fighting for his town's survival.
It will eventually come to a stop like a lot of the other military installations, you know. You can't get away with that shit in Yuma. You can't get away with that shit in 29 unless you know the angle. Just gotta take each one day at a time, you know. I got me a $57 pair of fucking Vans. I'm half a camper. You know. I wonder if her shoes cost more than mine. I don't ask. I know better.
State sponsors like Syria and Iran have a long history of collaboration with terrorists. And they deserve no patience from the victims of terror. The United States makes no distinction.
In late 2007, the military transported dozens of surplus APCs, armored personnel carriers, onto the range. Rumor had it the new targets would be used to test the next generation of air-to-ground missiles for for a possible strike on Iran's nuclear facilities.
If there is a scrapper in the area, there's a good chance these vehicles will not last. They can have an armored personnel carrier cut up in very short order.
When pilots found the APC targets had been completely stripped of their aluminum armor, the exercise had to be aborted. In Nyland's outlaw circles, rumor had it that only one scrapper could have pulled off such an audacious act. It wasn't long before the authorities cracked down on scrapping activities around the bombing range. They arrested Downey's father, Mel, for buying stolen government property and temporarily shut down his recycling center.
Do you have your license?
Actually, they haven't mailed it to me yet.
What, they mail yours to you?
Yeah, I
Why
get it
that?
free for 5 years.
Whatever.
You need to have some of that spray on you for the bugs.
But Downey disappeared under the radar and was not apprehended that time. When he was spotted again, he was transporting a load of scrap aluminum out of the no man's land of the Chocolate Mountains bombing range.
This is the life. No, I missed him. Shoot him again, man.
Ball!